I hadn't activated the microphone. Hello, welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and welcome to episode 125 of the Jesus Enrique Rosas show. That pause is because I realized my mic was off, but we are improving because in the older days, I would speak like for 2 minutes. I remember one time, it was like, I don't know how many minutes I was speaking and I was muted and I said, oh my God, do I have to say that again? I have to say that again. I will say that again. That's not happening today. Not happening today. Maybe close my coat, my jacket. Buenos dias, Jesus. You should play your cello as opening music. I am not that good. I'm not that good at playing a cello, like just going for Ed Sharon Herman 8139. I wish I haven't touched the cello in a while. I should. It's a beautiful instrument. Was designed by people with I don't know, some kind of sadomasochistic tendencies, because that thing is hard as nails. I prefer the electric guitars. But again, we are live through YouTube, Rumble, and on X as well. Just let me confirm that we are live through all three platforms. And just the easiest way to support my channel is to like and subscribe. It's that simple. And of course, share my videos with your family and friends. You don't have to share the complete show. That maybe they see, I'm not going to watch 2 hours of this guy, even if he is Latino accent. It can be tantalizing. No, I understand that, but maybe they can watch the videos that I send to my individual channels, like the Body Language channel right here, or the PowerPoint as well. Maybe you're into true crime. You can watch the Crime Corner, or you're into the British Royals and non-Royals as well, the Royal Rogue, and what else? We have, oh my God, so many channels. I always lose count of all of these channels, but you can find all of them in the description of this video. And at the same time, you can find my email in case you want to reach out to say, Jesus, I have a tip for this. You should watch this video. You should watch this, that, such and such. What do we have for today? We have a couple topics for today. Just want to take out that we are ready to begin, and I think that we can start just like that. A friendly reminder, where's my chat? My chat is right here. Let's just wait a second to make sure that I have my timer ready. The timer is the single most important thing thank you, KG Process. I love your channel and I love your accent. I try to pronounce correctly, but at the same time I'm not minding much of my accent because, well, it's I cannot get rid of it anyway. It is part of my show, so let's go for this. Hello, El Guapo. Thank you for that, Sue Peacock. And let's talk about this. This is interesting. You remember that we were covering this many months ago about the Dundee Scottish girl who was threatened by these Abroidians, and she had to defend herself with a knife and a hatchet. It seems, I have not confirmed this, but it seems that those criminals have been accused of assaulting girls. Finally, I have not confirmed if this is about Lola and her sister, but this absolutely sounds like this. A man and woman have appeared in court accused of assaulting 2 girls in Dundee. Prosecutors allege Ilya Velov approached 22 years old, it fits, approached and followed 4 girls who were aged between 12 and 14. It fits the story that we know. And made sexual remarks to them. It fits the story that we know. Before seizing one of the girls and pushing her to the ground. It also fits the story that we know. His co-accused Nadesha Velova, 20, we know that there was a woman present, is accused of repeatedly seizing and pulling another of the girl by the hair. It also fits the story that we have, that we knew about these girls, dragging her to the ground and punching her on the head to her injury. yeah, all of this, we know that every single one of these points, it fits like a glove to what happened to Lola and her sister. The case was continued without plea to a case management hearing on 6 March at Dundee Sheriff Court. So, well, this was amazing. I remember reaching out to Dundee Police Department to, as a freedom of information request, and they told me, okay, we cannot release anything because you are not at like some kind of party that would be actually, I don't know, interested in this. It was, I got this odd response, but I say, okay, I guess corruption is like that. But no, it seems that they were actually investigating the thing, and it's nice that, yes, the solution, you know what it is, always be chimping. It's like that Alec Baldwin scene. I should analyze this scene. Today we're gonna analyze a movie scene. What movie scene are we gonna analyze? I said today, you know what? I should analyze a movie scene at some point in this channel, because I've spent so many of these shows, and I say I want to, send videos to all my channels, and I also have a channel in which I analyze movies. I should be analyzing movies, and I'm going to take a look at this one, at that Ransom movie scene. Maybe you have watched Ransom, maybe you haven't, but that is a great movie. We can learn a lot from that. We have something that is crazy. That's yesterday I was talking about this horrific tragedy in Canada, that this transgender shot dead 10 kids. 10 were dead. Some of them were kids. It also killed his own mother, what I understand, in this horrific shooting at a school. And it turns out, you know how it's, I don't know if this fate loves irony applies here, or this is absolutely crazy. But it turns out that Matt Walsh, say a while ago, okay, this was 3 years ago. I have to make it clear, 3 years ago on Reddit, Matt Walsh quote tweets account that posted a person's adult content without permission as a form of targeted harassment. That account has over 50,000 followers, and many of them are underage. And what was the account that Matt Walsh was, trying to bring attention to? It was in this Reddit, male to female, of transgenders, Jesse Boy 347. Jesse Boy 347, and 3 years ago, it's like Matt Walsh was some kind of Nostradamus, because this turned out to be the man who perpetrated the horrific crime in Canada yesterday. The YouTube account was created on 2018, originally under the name Jesse Boy 347 Strang. I mean, this is what? What is this? This the kind of, I would say, coincidence, because Matt Walsh couldn't have predicted this in any sort of way, but it so happens that that precise account was from this guy Strang, who, he was a man. I'm not gonna play the game of this Canadian woke authorities that are so worried. They are more worried about you have to use the woman's preferred pronouns. It was not a woman, it was a man. And I have seen so much horrific stuff about parents not knowing what had happened to their kids just because the police didn't want to release any information, because they knew that since it was one of these freaks then that was going to be a problem. That was going to be a problem. But as I'm telling you, as I told you yesterday, and I already posted the video to YouTube, and YouTube immediately, of course, demonetized, changed that from full monetization to the yellow sign of death. I know you cannot be talking about this, but I'm going to repeat that. The trans trend is just a cover-up for mental illness that should be solved with insane asylums. And I'm going to say this all the time that is needed because it is objectively the truth. Until people realize this, things are not going to change. Things are not going to change. I saw him laughing like Satan. I think there was a video, but I am sleeping a bit better. I had nightmares last night again, but at least I was a bit more in control. Maybe I will be able to control lucid dreams at some point. I hope so. And speaking of transgenders, we need to talk about this. Speaking of transgenders and people that are insane in the brain, in the head, they have some kind of disorder, not only in their heads, but their asses as well. New, the Daily Mail tracked down alleged Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson's former roommate Lance Twiggs. So you mean Tyler Robinson's boyfriend? And we need to call spade a spade. Tyler Robinson's boyfriend. Twiggs, 22, is reportedly living with a family in Texas. He was spotted with a long, unkempt hair, a Taco Bell t-shirt, and a hardcover fantasy novel in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Photos from the Daily Mail show. Okay, so he was finally found. I found this really strange that we didn't know where Lance Twiggs was. And well, it seems that the mystery has been solved preemptively or temporarily. And this is perhaps the most interesting picture that I found at the Daily Mail. I don't know what is the amount of stuff that he's carrying on that backpack, but that backpack deserves the I am tired, boss. I am tired, boss. And he was with some kind of box, and you know that people were going to find out what that novel was about. I'm going to mention the novel briefly. And his book says, Jesus Man. WTF, sound familiar? The story follows Vin, a young street thief with hidden abilities who gets recruited into a crew of skilled rebels led by the charismatic Killshare, a legendary figure known as the Survivor. They plan an impossible heist to overthrow the final empire from within by infiltrating its nobility, sowing chaos, and ultimately taking down the Lord. I mean, people are saying that this is some kind of fits the narrative of one guy entering this Reddit crazy forums, hanging out with all these furries, and ultimately scheming to take down the Lord. In this case would be Charlie Kirk. But if you take a look at this synopsis of the book, this is basically, if you had a sample of 100 young adult fantasy books, this would be the plot, like around 60 or 70 of them. Like 70% of young adult fantasy books have this exact same trope. So I think that this is a trope that I could write a book like this, and yeah, you could try similarities to what happened to Charlie Kirk, but I don't think that is too much of a coincidence because of the frequency. The important thing is that I don't know how the ranch group of people with all their conspiracy theories that absolutely want to absolve Tyler Robinson of any wrongdoing, how are they going to process this? Because you know that there are many people out there, many people out there, that they want to entertain any sort of theory. And I mean any, no matter how crazy it is, no matter if they take me seriously talking about Jack Black. I think that some of them have been discussing Jack Black on Reddit. I have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised either. In replacing, or they are entertaining all these conspiracies. So far, they don't talk about Tyler Robinson. It's like they can consider anything but Tyler Robinson, which I think the right approach would be, you know what, we need to, let's say, assess the evidence in every single way. But when you tell them that evidence like, ballistics and more of that stuff and cameras and all of that can be verified by third parties and any conspiracy would be shut down immediately, they say that everyone is compromised. Everyone. The FBI, the third parties, Donald Trump, Erica Kirk, who else? I don't know. The Jews. Who else? It could be... who else could be compromised as well? I don't know. Michael Jordan. I don't know. Everyone is compromised. Everyone is compromised. We cannot believe anything that is happening in front of our eyes. We have been blinded by this. We are being ruled by the Illuminati. And as I've told you many times, that is not a healthy way to live. That is a very miserable way to live. If you think that everything is a conspiracy, you are retarded. If you think that nothing is a conspiracy, you're retarded as well. So there has to be some kind of middle ground in which we take a look at the evidence and say, okay, maybe this is the direction and Tyler Robinson is the right direction. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the bottle language guy. Much love and bliss. And I also have to remind you, just in case, that I always do this sort of goodbye in between topics, because every single one of these topics I upload to my channels. Right now, I'm uploading this previous topic of Tyler Robinson's boyfriend. Where should it go? It should go to my Body Language Guy channel, and I drop like that, and then we can check the comments. Why are you laughing? Why? I'm conspiracy balance. Yeah, that's what we should. I think everything should be considered. I think everything should be considered. Some people tell me that it is unfair. By the way, I have my magical tea today. I should be drinking my magical tea today for my boys. I remember when we were talking about all these conspiracies, the only one I didn't even bother to consider was the exploding mic one. That's when I say, no, you know what? This is where I draw the line. This is where I draw the line because of physics. And I saw all these imbeciles discussing about exploding mics. I blocked a ton of them. I enjoy blocking retards, not only on YouTube, banning them. I love when they pop up on my comments. Maybe today is gonna be a peaceful day. Maybe today is gonna be a peaceful day. I don't know. There's no way. Again, this is like, hey, there's no way that kid made that shot from the rooftop with that archaic weapon. Why? Okay, what is your point? But again, that's that question. What is the other option? Because everything points to that. I have to say that everything points in that direction. Oh, Jesus has been paid for. The Jews, he got his 7,000 check. Oh my God, if I had a dollar, if I had $1 every time, or anyone tells me that I was paid by Israel, that I received a $7,000 check, I would have around $72, $73. But that would be good money. $73. I'm not going to say no to $73. But yeah, that's as many times that people have told me, oh yeah, you have been paid for by the Jews. Paid for by the Jews. I don't like this topic. I have another topic here that is better. Have many topics today. There's one topic here that we need to address. See if I can organize my thoughts here and my slides. Okay. I think it's a better order. I'm doing things here behind the scenes, and we can continue. We can continue with this. Again, it's like the comment I just highlighted. You can disagree with me. If you disagree with me in a polite way, that's great. That is great. If you disagree with me with ad hominem attacks, you are banned. It's that simple. That's how it works. So it's time to talk about Thomas Massie and also the Epstein's victims. And yes, you might be asking, why am I addressing this over and over again? Because there's something that I don't understand. There's something that statistically doesn't fit. As in, people are saying so many things popping up in the Epstein files, but so little stuff is being able to be verified. And in this case, look at Thomas Massie's response when he's asked if some of the redacted women's names are those of women who recruited children. We have been talking about this. You know, that were victims at the start, but they were paid for, they received money, and then they were upgraded to, you know what, can you recruit more girls for me? And that was, I just uploaded my lover boy manipulation method, or how it works, to my channel. I'm going to publish that after this live stream. But he acknowledges that as true, so that actually happened, and then immediately shift focus back to another document he found listing Wexner as co-conspirator to child sex trafficking. That is usual deflection. When you ask a question about topic A, and somebody, or the person that you're asking that question to, answers the questions with A, right, okay, and then switch immediately to B, or maybe never addresses A in the first place, completely ignoring the facts below. Let's see Macy's reaction. Quality of the video is not that good, but let's go for it. What the hell?
Just real quick, they're redacting women under the...
Sorry, the captions. You can't see the captions. You see, so you can better see the captions.
Just real quick, they're redacting women under the idea, the premise that they might be victims themselves. But the allegation is now that some of these women were actually helping Epstein to find girls.
Yeah.
To find kids.
And that's probably the case. So, yeah. And then I found another document while I was over there where they had, this is an FBI document. It's not even a witness statement. The FBI prepared this document, and they listed Leslie Wexner as a co-conspirator.
Okay, that was quick. That was all that he acknowledged?
To find girls.
Yeah.
To find kids.
And that's probably the case. So, yeah. And then...
That is probably the case. All right. That is probably... That is a very dangerous way to speak about these terms. This is probably the case that some of these victims also helped traffic children to Epstein, or underage women to Epstein. Yeah.
To child sex trafficking, not just sex trafficking, child sex trafficking. And that's a 2019 FBI document.
Yeah.
So I came out publicly and I said the DOJ needs to unredact this, and they did. Now, Bondi's rebuttal to that.
Okay, there was all the things about Bondi. So he just went... How they went straight to just not talk about this. And this is the problem. I see everywhere questions about this, and these are questions that we want justice, and the evidence is out there. And somebody pointed out, say, the background of some of the victims who were right behind Pam Bondi yesterday, and you see the numbers on them. I have an interview of one of them, by the way. And, okay, Jess Michaels. I think that I made a video about Jess Michaels. Yeah, absolutely. It was her. She was complaining about the transparency and why the DOJ had to be transparent. She did not complain when Biden was in office. Okay, I guess. Okay, claims she was sexually assaulted by Epstein in 1992 at age 22, but did not realize she had been victimized until 2019 when she gave a TED Talk and launched a consulting firm. All right. Number 2 is this one. Teresa Helm claims she was groomed and trafficked by Epstein and Maxwell in 2002 at age 22. Okay. And did not realize she had been victimized until 2019 after watching a YouTube video. All right. Okay. Number 3 is Liz Stein claims she encountered Epstein and Maxwell in 1994 at age 21, but did not realize that she had been trafficked until 2019 after she spent the preceding several decades in long-term psychiatric facilities. Oh my God. Number 4 is this lady here. She is Lara Bloom McGee, refuses to give specifics but claims she was an adult model when she was trafficked, quote unquote, sometime in the early and mid 2000s. Number 5, Lisa Phillips. I had an interview with Lisa Phillips that we're going to watch a little later. Lisa Phillips claims she was sexually abused in some non-specific way when she was a 21-year-old model and accepted an invitation to go on a day trip to Epstein's Island. I don't know if this was after she was abused or that was the moment that she was abused. And sister-in-law of Virginia Roberts Giuffre and brother of Virginia Roberts Giuffre. This is the problem that I see with this. And people are just, there are no community notes on these posts. Posts like this one. This girl was a human trafficker with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend would watch Epstein have sex with her. Then they brought friends to Epstein. They were drug addicts, now professional victims. And yeah, there was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Right there, you remember that, right? You remember that day. And I made a video yesterday about Anna Paulina Luna basically confirming that so many of those emails, like that email that I analyzed a few days ago, your little girl was a little naughty, was from an alleged victim. And this is from Anna Paulina Luna. There are no community notes, and she had the ability, she could take a look at the unredacted files when that is great. And yeah, also Anna Paulina Luna, if you are over the age of 18 and knowingly assisted in trafficking children to Epstein only to later claim to be a victim, you are still complicit and guilty of child trafficking. Some of the names redacted in these emails are allegedly victims who were helping Epstein traffic additional child victims. And that is a problem that I see. There's a thing that we see this very vocal victims. There's another comment here from American Girl. I was just reading her boyfriend's testimony. She left her fiancé for this dude, and then they started recruiting girls for Jeffrey because she said, if you don't want me to have sex with him anymore, we need to find younger girls. What? So, okay, so, again, I don't think, this is what I've told you many times, and I'm going to say that again, but there's another thing that another question that I want to pose about this. I don't think these are all of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. There must have been more out there. One thing is for certain, these have been the most vocal and loudest about it. And we know that many of them already settled with the Epstein estate for millions of dollars, and they must have signed an NDA, and they are making noise now that Donald Trump is in office. We don't know why they didn't make any noise when, well, Biden was in charge and Biden's DOJ. So it's right now that they are making this noise. But I have another question that I was thinking about this morning, you know that I sometimes need a couple of days to begin to process some questions, and I'm going to pose this question to you. See that, what do you think? What do you make of this? I see so many reports in these emails. Okay, you see emails sent by women who were grown up at the time. The victims that we see were grown up at the time. I have yet to see victims who were, I know that there was one or two who were actually groomed, who were actually underage, but we are yet to see the actual proof. There's a lot of proof about this. There's tons of proof of what happened to these women. And that is great, because that's how they got their settlement. They went through stuff. Yeah, some of them helped traffic girls to Jeffrey Epstein, but at the same time, we cannot deny the fact that they were victims as well. So again, this is a complex case to study. But what happened to the alleged younger girls who trafficked them? Where are those girls' families? Do all those girls were, I don't know, orphans or something? Nobody cared about them. Nobody cared about their disappearance. Nobody knew about them anymore. And that's the other thing. If you have these women, these victims that started out of victims and then were upgraded to, hey, you need to bring me girls, wouldn't these women know where those girls, those underage girls, came from, their names, when they trafficked them, or they have some sort of selective memory? Again, I want to try to make some kind of mental model out of this, some structure. I have told you many, many times that it's important to visualize everything about a case so you can make a representation. That is easy for me because I've always had the ability to make simulations of everything in my mind. That is something that you might not know. I'm going to mention right now, I can simulate machinery, I can simulate human interactions, I can simulate digital processes, many things, and I can say, okay, this in my simulation, this is what happened, or this piece is missing. And the piece that is missing in my mental model of what Epstein was doing is the little girls, okay? The little girls, where did they come from, and where did they end up? And so people are going to attack me because they have already attacked me online, saying that you're protecting this PDF file. And I said, no, on the contrary, I want to know what happened to those underage women, girls, teenagers, you name it. I want to know what happened to them. Why we don't have more references of that in the Epstein files? And simultaneously, we know that we don't know if there's a still investigation about this with grand juries. But the problem would be, at the same time, how long do these investigations take? I mean, there's so many questions here. There's so many what happened here. And my first idea would be, okay, you were a victim at first. Maybe you could have helped Epstein afterward, but you can help us as well find justice for other women who were girls or underage at the time. Why isn't that happening? That is my question. Why do you keep making noise right now and not during Biden administration? That could have been, more urgent, right? Because remember that it was during Trump's administration, the first one, that's when they arrested Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. So yeah, that is odd. But again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss. Many people, this another issue is that I see many people still blaming Trump for all of this. He was mentioned in the files. He was this, he was that. And I need to say something about that being mentioned in the files, because we need a special mention. We need to make a special mention today. Jesus, you remind me of my brother, Virgo, as well. Perfection and very detailed. Yeah, that's something that can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. Because yeah, I like the pieces to fit neatly, and sometimes the pieces don't fit neatly. Sometimes you don't have of course, Jeffrey Epstein was the villain, the bad guy. He did the no good. The kind of guy that if you had, is like that line in Avengers Endgame. What if we go to the time when he was, like Thanos was a baby, and you just, right? You remember? You watch Avengers, that line was very funny. And yeah, it's you sometimes think maybe you're making the world a favor. Maybe you could have done that with the vegan Austrian painter as well, with Hitler. I don't know. You think that the people that are so evil, that can't you just, if you had a time machine, would it be easier to, I don't know, do something like that? But then you have women who were victims, originally men who kept hanging out with Epstein. But the problem is that hanging out with someone convicted of being a pedophile is not a crime in itself. So you can hang out with them. You can go to their island. You can take pictures with them. That is not going to be illegal. It's your reputation is gonna take a hit. That's for sure. But you're not gonna be prosecuted. You're not gonna be prosecuted for anything. Oh my God, that is the problem. That is one of the big issues here. And I need to jump to another topic that I was going to cover a bit later today. But I think it's important to cover it right now. Before I cover it, if you allow me, I need another image that I forgot to insert here. And I'm going to insert this image as fast as possible, because it's important, just some kind of illustration. But we need to address this, as this is going to go on my Royal Road channel. I have not updated my Royal Road channel, and this is important. We need to talk about this. You know, when it comes to the Epstein files, we have a huge problem, and I exposed this on my Body Language Guy channel, how there's so much fluff and misinformation and completely made up stuff in there, because there's even the tips from people who were literally making things up. And the problem is that even if they were making things up, or this is hearsay, or this is hearsay of a hearsay of a hearsay, you have levels of hearsay. If somebody said, that somebody said, that somebody said, you're going to have headlines and titles and things like this that are going to hurt people that had nothing to do with Epstein. And we need to talk about Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And I'm keeping an eye on your comments. Try, really try. Just try. Just try me. I'm keeping an eye on your comments. File claims. This is the kind of stuff that I'm telling you. that I'm going to talk about the royal family, but I want to address what is going on right now with the royal family and the Epstein files that should not be happening. We have this. Alert, file claims Queen was Epstein client. I'm going to tell you, when you're browsing X or you're browsing Facebook, Facebook is full of misinformation. Facebook is full of fake videos about everything. I could say that YouTube is also fake, full of fake stuff. But Facebook is something that is a cesspool. But again, we have this on X. File claims Queen was Epstein, quote-unquote, client. And I'm going to ask you, what percentage of the population do you think is going to read past this without jumping straight to the comments? I knew it. They are all reptilians. They all eat babies. They drink baby blood. All that. They're going to do that. They're going to do that instantly. They're not going to even read the subtitle. A newly released document quotes Murray Gell-Mann saying that he was under the impression that Epstein's clients include the Queen of England, but there's no independent evidence confirming it. Nobody, or at least less than half of the population, is going to read these 3 lines. And even less people are going to bother reading the actual text. So we go here and read the actual text and see that they are talking about this. Murray Gell-Mann and mathematical biologist Martin Nowak, when this man described Epstein, they talk about energy and curiosity, as well as a love for theoretical physics. So this is a guy having these recollections about 2 guys. So this is the opinion of one person, the memory of one person. Gell-Mann rather sweetly mentions that there are always pretty ladies around when he goes to dinner, chair Epstein, and he's under the impression that Epstein's clients include the Queen of England. That's it. You have somebody, you are relying on the memory of someone thinking about a guy that he alleged that he thinks that was hanging out with Epstein, and he kind of remembers that that person had the idea that the Queen of England was one of Epstein's clients. You understand the madness, right? You understand the madness. You follow me on the Body Language Guy channel. You're watching this section on the Roger Rogue channel right now. You can understand how this upsets me. Because how much I respect her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. You have this absolute hearsay that reminds me of Giles Corran. This is worse than I don't know. I think that Giles Corran is even worse than this. But then you have this guy Mario Knopfel. This is the kind of accounts that just post this for clicks. They know people are not going to read besides the title. People are going to see Epstein and the Queen, and I knew it. The monarchy is tainted. All of them are PDF files. All of them eat babies. All of them drink adrenochrome. All of that. They're gonna instantly jump into that conclusion. And we have, again, 2 problems here. The first problem is that, yes, Donald Trump was right that this was going to, but there's so much nonsense in here. There's so much noise in here that is not even evidence, that is not even things created by Epstein, because there's even images and videos of pornography downloaded by Epstein from the internet in the Epstein files. So talk about the fluff of this. And at the same time, he knew that some opportunists were going to use this kind of, this is not even cherry picking. This is atom picking. Right? This is you're picking a molecule from this wall of text, from hearsay to smear the Queen Elizabeth in some way for clicks. This was bound to happen. And yeah, you see the replies. The replies are disgusting. So, again, at some point, to some extent, I need to focus on Andrew here. To some extent, I can't blame people when they say, okay, well, Andrew is a rotten apple. We know that Sarah Ferguson is a rotten apple as well. We know that these people have absolutely no principles. But there's one thing that I have told you many times in my videos, many times in my live streams, is that you should never judge a person by their family, not for good, not for bad. So you have to judge people on a case-by-case basis. Yes, maybe if you see somebody who comes from a family of thieves, then you can say that, okay, statistically, I better not hang out with them, but it could be unfair because, yes, somebody righteous could come from a bad family, and it could be the opposite as well. Say what you want, but this is something that Randy Andy, which is the scientific, accurate way of calling him right now, this is what he brought upon himself, and this is what he has brought upon the royal family. Because now the whole royal family is under scrutiny because of some kind of ties to Epstein. And that photo of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at the cabin, at the lodge, at the cabin, I don't know where is the cabin, and this is the cabin that you see a picture of the Queen, and you see a photo of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, and it's the same one, just because this, how does I don't know, this guy that doesn't have a brain, he only thinks with his dick, and you know how dangerous it is. He brought that upon the royal family, and now, well, King Charles is dealing with that, according to Lady C. Big shout out to Lady C, by the way. I haven't mentioned her in a while. According to Lady C, this has not been the ideal circumstances for the king's health. The king's health has been impacted by this, and you know that he was going through the whole prostate cancer treatment. He was, I think I've seen him, he was in good spirits, but it is obvious that so many tensions, and even William and Catherine having to pronounce themselves, you know, we are with the victims, of course. They have to say something, because all the things that Randy Andy, has brought upon his family. And you have Randy Andy on one side, and you have the clickbaiters on the other side. This is absolutely unfair. And you say, oh, are you defending pedos again, Jesus? No, I'm saying that, once again, Donald Trump was right. This could be very well considered a hoax crafted by Democrats, because they made sure to fill this up with a lot of stuff that, was a little nothing burger. There is evidence in there, of course. There are actual videos of Jeffrey Epstein doing stuff in the files, but there's a lot of more stuff implicating people that had nothing to do with Epstein. And right now, you can imagine how the WhatsApp groups of anti-monarchists are just on fire with this kind of stuff. But it should not be happening. Can this be stopped? No. Pandora's box has been opened. Anything goes with this. I would say that people should exercise some critical thinking in the slightest way, but people don't want critical thinking. People want it's served to tell me what happened. Oh, the Queen is in the Epstein files. That's all that their brain is going to register. And they're going to repeat that, and they're going to broadcast that to their WhatsApp groups. And that is the most concerning thing, is to realize that these people also vote, and their vote counts exactly as yours and mine. And that, my friends, that's not fair. But again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Much love and bliss. So I had to talk about the royal family, and that goes straight to my Royal Rogue channel. I'm going to switch to my Royal Rogue channel right now. Make sure to, I prefer to upload this on the spot, because usually after the show I am a bit, you can imagine that I'm a bit low on energy. Low on energy. Here you go. So uploading this section. And say, yeah, idiotic people. Idiotic people. There's too many of them. Too many opportunists. This has happened to me a lot on X. I try to ask level-headed questions, as in, how do we know this? How can confirm this? And people automatically have this emotional reflex that you are covering up pedophiles. You are going against common sense. And no, the common sense is actually okay. There's this piece of evidence. This piece of evidence implies something, and this mention in the Epstein files doesn't imply what people are saying, and then people are going to pile onto you. At this point, I'm basically I thought that my skin couldn't grow any thicker, but yeah, the past 10 days have been a test for how thick my skin can grow, because I no longer care for what people say. I'm come here for the critical thinking, to let's analyze this. Let's try to go from a logical perspective. Let's try to use logic here, and that's maybe at some point we could talk about induction and deduction. That's why people have reached out to me and said, what happened with the body language analysis, Jesus? We love your body language analysis. How do you analyze people's body language? And the issue is that I'm still the body language guy, but I began to grow into noticing that, okay, it's important what people say, and that is not body language, obviously. That is a statement analysis. And I've always told you that the actual analysis is two sides of the coin, the non-verbal part of the thing. And non-verbals include body language, but also there's also our voice, or the quality of our voice. That is not actually body language, but it's non-verbal communication. And there's also the other side of the coin, which is statement analysis, what people say, the verbal part of the thing. And the context and the circumstances and the timing, and you notice that, yeah, everything is a system. So, yeah, at some point, the just focus on body language was something that I would never leave behind, of course. It's something that I had to go bigger. Okay, let's look at all the circumstances. Let's look at all the pieces. I guess that by analyzing so much stuff through so many years, I could have like some more random access memory in my brain, so I could juggle more dots and connect more dots, and that's the idea. And that's why I do sort of, okay, let's exercise our gray matter to see what's going on. It's been great so far. I have a couple topics here that maybe I can jump into. Let me see, which other topic do we have here? We need to talk about the heavy topics first. Let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this one. It's when we talk about the ranch people. When we talk about the ranch people, we cannot leave. Megan is gonna get jealous. I know that Megan is gonna get jealous. What happened, Jesus? We used to have some kind of. Megan is gonna tell me. I thought we had something special in here. The problem is. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. I remember October 2021. Megan was still kind of a mystery, quote unquote, to me. And in October 2021, that's when I decided to do the experiment. Okay, I'm gonna do one Meghan Markle video per day, no days skipped, even weekends. And why was that? Because at that point, I had this backlog of, I don't know, like 50 or 60 clips that people were sending me from years before Meghan. Yeah, I hadn't made so many analyses of Meghan. I had kind of stumbled upon that topic in 2021 because of the Oprah interview, of course. But I hadn't dedicated to Meghan until October of that year. Okay, let's go all the way. And that's why that was October and November of 2021, non-stop analyzing Meghan Markle, one day after the other. Every single clip from every single year before, let's do this. And, well, it was like 50 or 60 days like that. And, of course, at the start of that journey, Meghan Markle was still kind of a mystery to me. But you can imagine that if you analyze Meghan Markle, or any other person for that matter, for 2 months straight, and you start to notice their mannerisms when their mask drops, their gestures, the timing, their reactions, and the mystery itself begins to dissolve. And at some point you say, okay, I got this person figured out. And the next time you see them, the next time you see a fresh new video of them, you have already figured them out. And yeah, that becomes boring. That literally becomes boring. That's why I began to pivot into more commentary about the Harkles and the royal family and that dynamics, and Harry that was going to write his book and whatever, and he had all this stuff. And that's why that the next year the Royal Rogue was created. So that the Royal Rogue was created because there was no longer a mystery about who Meghan Markle was, but I knew that you wanted to just comment about what was going on, what were her plans or something. And that's still basically the idea behind the Royal Rogue. But sometimes, okay, we have new mysteries. And those new mysteries all usually come in the shape of what are this person's intentions? What is this person's end game? What is I don't know, what the actions that this person is taking, where does he or she want to end up? What is the end game? So in this case, well, Candace Owens has become that mystery because I certainly don't know what she wants. Candace Owens has become my latest mystery. Sorry, Megan, you know that at some point it was bound to happen. But then I try to realize that this is getting out of control. We have something that, for example, right now she is demanding that if we had any semblance of a justice system, Erica would be at this point, Erica Kirk would be at this point be taken in for questioning by the police. I'm pretty sure that Erica was part of the investigation at some point. That there's no doubt about that. What I have doubts about is that she is any sort of suspect in this case. So that's, by the way, one thing that I have been asked a lot of times by Candace Owens fans, which there's less and less of them. Thank God for that, because I simply blocked them at this point. Oh, why Erica doesn't have an alibi for the 8th and 9th of September? And I say, well, maybe because, one, she is not a suspect in this case. And number two, last time I checked, we are not law enforcement officers or anything. So it's not like they're going to share any sort of alibi with us, or Erica's going to share any sort of alibi with us, because why would her? She's not the one being investigated. And you know how it is. It's like we were talking about Queen Elizabeth in the Epstein files. People want to make something out of nothing all of the time, because I guess that their lives are so miserable and dull and gray that they need some kind of conspiracy to make it, I don't know, to make it through the day. And yes, I agree. This is something that I don't want to happen. But the problem is that the odds of this happening, let's say, grow every time Candace keeps pushing and pushing these crazy theories. Frank McCormick, Candace Owens is going to get Erica Kirk murdered when one of her insane cult members decides to exact justice for Charlie. I'm not kidding. This must stop. Again, you might say that we are censoring her. She can say whatever she wants, but she must, let's say, assume the consequences of that. But at the same time, I know that you remember. I'm going to talk about this. It's like you can remember Sandy Hook and how Alex Jones questioned that the Sandy Hook thing never happened, that the Sandy Hook thing was a hoax. And Alex Jones never really told his audience, I think that he didn't tell his audience that, I don't know if he said that at some point, that the grieving parents who had lost their kids in Sandy Hook, they were paid actors. So imagine if you are a parent and your kid dies at a shooting, and then you have this crazy conspiracist pushing to his horde of the ranch fans that you are a paid actor. So you don't only have to grieve your kid who was murdered at a shootout, but you have to deal with hundreds of the ranch lunatics who every time they find you in public, they're going to spit and shout at you and stuff. So yes, some people say that they disagree that Alex Jones did nothing wrong. I think that he had to own what he said and what he implied. And if I was one of the parents of any of those kids, I would have done the same. I would have sued his ass. And well, you F around, you find out. Again, he had the right to say all that, but he must have foreseen that if he said that these parents were paid actors, or implied that the parents of actual dead kids were paid actors, you had it coming, bro. You had it coming. That I agree with $1 billion. That was, I think that was a lot, I guess. But well, that's how the game is played, I guess. So I sometimes hate the internet, because now people are saying also, people notice that Erica Kirk has removed the wedding photo with Charlie Kirk from his bookshelf, and that somehow seems to be some kind of an issue for people. The explanation, they had to issue an explanation. A Turning Point USA spokesperson told Newsweek, Erica moved it to a lower shelf when her daughter asked to see it so she could hold and look at the photo. It's still on the studio shelf, just lower down where her daughter can look at it whenever she's in there with her mom. So we have arrived at the point that just moving one picture out of its place, it means something. It means something for some reason. And well, now that people have said that I am running some kind of cult because it's like I'm pushing a narrative to my followers. I want to make this very clear. I have never pushed a narrative, any sort of narrative to my followers. I say it as that simple. Maybe you can disagree with what I say. You can politely disagree in the comments. That is great. If you unpolitely disagree in the comments, I ban you. I have been clear about the rules of engagement here. And yes, if I think that you're retarded, I block you. And I think that you praise and follow and think that retarded people have good takes, then I will block you as well, because I don't want any sort of retard adjacent people following me. So that the rules of engagement, the rules of my game, of my channel, are there for everyone to see. So I am not forcing anyone to believe anything, and I'm very clear about that. But when you say that your podcast is God's platform, all right, did Candace Owens really say it? Brita always has nice clips from Candace, but I want to check this for myself.
I genuinely know that this is God's platform, and whenever he's done and has used it, I'll be off of this. If this is the reason why I have the top podcast, to just get to the bottom of this, because it's...
No, the reason that you have the top podcast is the reason that Bad Bunny is the greatest artist in the world. And you can disagree that Bad Bunny is not that big. I'm going to tell you Bad Bunny is that big. And it's like the same reason why Kim Kardashian is that big. And I'm not talking about her butt. I'm talking about the numbers. Yeah, Bad Bunny, Kim Kardashian, Candace Owens can be big because, you know, the bar for actual taste and criteria and thinking is quite low. So having a huge platform doesn't mean anything. In fact, it sometimes means the opposite of what we could call quality. Not only in music, but entertainment, but thinking as well. So, Candace, I don't know, that is not the win that you think it is. But what is the rest of the clip?
reveals so much to us, then so be it. I'm content with the story.
Oh, right. So, yeah, yours is God's platform. Let me, I don't want to have Candace in an unflattering screenshot. Yours is God's platform. Yeah, that absolutely sounds like a cult. And of course, she makes sure that is a nice touch. I've never mentioned this. She makes sure to have the cross at the background. Nice touch, Candace. If somebody messes with you, they're messing with Chris himself, I guess. That's the way that you use symbols to, let's say, protect yourself from the naysayers. And of course, if you have seen my analysis on composition, you can realize that she has put the cross in the single most important area, the one that attracts the most attention in the frame from this angle. She's got two angles in her show. This is the 3/4 angle, like I don't know, this is the kind of 70 degrees angle. And she makes sure to have that cross in the background. That checks out. That is the way that you take cover. So also, Candace Owens, Jordan S90. Candace Owens wants us to commit an insurrection against the government if Tyler Robinson is found guilty. I mean, I am following all these accounts. Shout out to S90 as well. And I sometimes say, is Candace actually saying all this? No, this can't be. This can't be. That's cannot be real, right? This has to be too much.
That was because everyone's just sort of trying to get the world to move on and stick this on a Tyler Robinson. This is actually a critical case, by the way. Tyler Robinson's case is critical because it's the final thing before we need to revolt. If we just find out that they can do this, not a shred of evidence.
Who, for the, I don't know, upteenth time, who is they? If I could interview Candace Owens, my first and only question, the interview would have only one question. Who is they? I want to know. Who is they? That's all I want to know.
Have they produced to tie this to Tyler Robinson? Nothing. And I told you when I sat down with Erica, they didn't have anything. They weren't hiding anything. People that were telling you that, there's no, there was nothing. They didn't have more than what was told to the public. If they can just stick this on to a random kid, we got
random kid. He was a random kid. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Problems. Like, lots of problems. So this is the final thing. If the legal system is also just a joke, I mean, I guess you could say my lawsuit with Brigitte is the same thing, and they're just using it to go after certain people and to protect certain people, which we kind of know that. Like, we don't know, but we know. I think it's going to get ugly in this country. I do. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. But I think it is. I think that's where we're headed.
It's going to get ugly, and she said the word revolt, if I am not mistaken. So, okay, I guess maybe you're crazy, deranged, mommy sleuth. I apologize. I want to say that word, the mommy sleuths, right? Would be the right way to pronounce it, because I know that if I mispronounce it, I'm going to say another thing that is not... It's not the thing that a gentleman would say. Let me see. Sleuths. Sleuth. Okay. Mommy sleuth. Especially with the sound. I have to be careful. Just checking out with my pronunciation. You know that once one has to be careful because, my auto captioner can be relentless at times. And what is this about? Candace Owens proved that Erica Kirk killed Charlie is that a toddler woke up from their sleep. What in the... what is this? Is this for real?
I just would like to ask why. She then says that Charlie woke up for a snack at 2:45 in the morning. And apparently he was so loud, the apartment's small.
I mean, Candace had some kind of cameras in the house or something like that? Or she was spying on them? Or she is, again, like, as I mentioned, like Alan Parsons' Project song. She's got an eye in the sky, looking at Charlie and Eric and everyone. She's looking at me right now. I don't know. She's omnipresent, something like that.
Maybe it was his excitement. He's like, yeah, you. Yeah, I'm so excited. Who knows?
No, I cannot watch this. I'm sorry. I am losing brain cells watching this. Natalie Denise, shout out to Natalie as well. Candace mocks Erica for saying "my Charlie," and you can hear the jealousy dripping off her lips. Goodness. All right, so it's maybe this is this clip is more palatable.
Erica was Charlie's husband. Erica's husband was gone. It's Erica and Charlie. Erica. She even intentionally used phrases like "my Charlie" in her initial speech, which was written in large part by Blake Neff, by the way, I'm told. Plus, in subsequent fundraising.
You know what a ghostwriter is, Candace? You know that if maybe the speech was written by Blake Neff, but the speech was going to be given by Erica, that could be a thing. And the task of a ghostwriter, maybe you're writing a book or an article or a speech for someone, is that the voice of the article has to be the voice of the person who's going to give the speech. So I don't know if that is some gotcha for you, but okay, that is kind of lame, I guess.
Letters and emails, they wanted the public to know that it was, quote unquote, my Charlie, to remind them over and over again, that's her husband, that's her husband. The intention was to lay, of course, the emotional groundwork for the sudden transfer of power.
What the fuck? What? But I didn't understand. Charlie was actually her husband. There's no lie in that. Oh, they were laying, by saying "my Charlie," she was laying the emotional groundwork for the transition of power. I mean, I am realizing that there's people who actually fall for this. And again, those people vote. And again, fuck's sake, those people's votes count the same as everyone else's? That is not fair. That is not fair. You should, that's what they say. You should, I don't know, own land, have an IQ test or something like that to vote. This is baffling. This argument is the most stupid thing that I've heard.
The idea being she's actually half of Charlie, so nobody should question anything. Charlie thought she was great, and you should think she's great. Nobody should be thinking or asking a question whether or not she's qualified to be the CEO and chairman. What's my point I'm making? No, Erica is not the person that moved that picture. In fact, it would be much more likely that Stacey Sheridan would have added that picture to the background. They would have said, okay, we're in his office. What are we going to do? Oh, let's put up some stuff behind to remind people that this is her Charlie and how happy they were and how in love they were. So that really only leaves us with one other option. And that option would be that Charlie himself moved the frame.
My God, I lost brain cells watching this. I don't know. My shout out, my heart goes to anybody who hate watches Candace Owens. My heart goes out to you, right? Is out. My heart goes out to you. And some of you are in the comments are saying are having polite questions. I don't trust Erica. Okay, and the question would be, why don't you trust Erica? That is a valid question. That should always be a valid question about anyone, literally anyone. Why not? And then there's this evidence that points in this direction, but I see so much of the evidence based on vibes and feelings. The most repeated statement about Erica Kirk is, there's something off about her. Okay, so now what should we do? What do we go from there? That is the actual question. I have told people, you throw me a bone, throw me an actual evidence about anything surrounding Erica, and I will look into it. And I have looked into it, and everything is nothing burger. So, okay, maybe you can disagree with the golden dress. You can disagree with the video of her with the coffin and the stuff. Okay, but it doesn't mean that she was, part of this conspiracy who killed Charlie Kirk. You can disagree with actions from her. You can say that, okay, the way that she grabbed J.D. Vance's head is odd. Okay, but many people are odd in many ways. It's like saying Donald Trump only eats McDonald's. Okay, that is odd. That is actually odd. But okay, what can we do about it? Nothing. So again, I would like to know what you think of this. What do you think about this in the comments? My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss. I don't know why I keep making videos about Candace, by the way, because it's not like you're too interested in this. And at this point, it's getting boring. It is a bit. It should be embarrassing, right? That Meghan Markle was way more interesting than Candace Owens for far longer. Candace Owens got boring for me really, really quickly. It's like where's the mystery in there? Where's there to analyze? Oh, Jesus, you're having this. You have no arguments against her. No, I'm going to clarify that. You got that thing backwards. I was not the one who shot first. I am not Han Solo, and we all know that Han shot first, right? Okay. I had to get that out of my chest. hand shot first. But I am not the first one who said some kind of conspiracy theory. In fact, what I have tried to do in my channel is to explain the questions that people pose online, and sometimes those questions don't have an answer yet. Maybe they will have an answer when the trial starts, and we hope so. As we didn't have an actual answer of that guy who stood up and began cheering the moment that Charlie was shot, and his explanation made no sense. That was something that had no answer. But it's not like I needed to debunk or whatever that Candace has said. I don't need to do that, because first and foremost, the majority of the things that she has posed first don't lead to anything concrete, and second are so, I think the term is grasping at straws. I think that is, sorry if I don't remember that. I use this, grasping at straws as an idiom that means making a desperate attempt to save oneself to succeed in a difficult situation. Yeah, she is grasping at straws. That's something that, again, okay, I guess. And I see so many people, shout out to Natalie Denise, Cinema Shogun online, Gary Melton as well from Paramount Tactical. They do this, let's say, debunking of what Candace has said much better than I could do, because I couldn't subject myself to the brain rot of watching any of her shows, and I won't do that either. Oh, to criticize her, you have to watch. No, I'm not going. Don't do it. Not doing that. And cry all that you want. I will ban you either. I don't care. And what I see is, okay, I need to see the context of this at least. And it turns out that the context, there's no context. There's no context that backs anything that she says. And that's when I say, how can you argue with somebody that I made one video about her? How can you argue with somebody who comes in bad faith? You cannot. And that is one of the main principles of manipulation. Somebody who wants to talk with you, or let's discuss this. No, if you can spot that they come in bad faith, there's no way that you can argue with them. And you certainly cannot fix them. Because at some point, we are not talking about Candace Owens. At some point, we're talking about actual manipulators in your life. People that manipulate you and try by every single measure to bring you to some kind of discussion, argument. We need to talk about this. No, we don't, because I know that you come in bad faith. And when somebody comes in bad faith, no, you cannot win an argument against them, because they will keep moving the goalposts. And if for some reason you catch them in a contradiction, they will begin crying. They will be saying that they're sorry, or maybe that they didn't know what they were doing, or maybe you misinterpreted. There's something we're talking about. We have spoken about that so many times. And that is the exact reason. That is the precise reason why Candace Owens doesn't go on debates. Because she knows that she will be destroyed. She was destroyed by Piers Morgan. That is embarrassing. That is pathetic. Being destroyed by Piers Morgan. Everybody, that's a rite of passage to be a man, to be a grown woman, to go on Piers Morgan and destroy the guy. That's something that maybe I should do at some point. But go on Piers Morgan and be destroyed by Piers Morgan, that is sad. The same way that she was asked this question. I don't know if it was the BBC or CNN or whatever, and she was also destroy. So again, there's no pushback. It's easy. Again, this is easy. I am in the same situation as Candace at her studio. I'm not gonna lie. This is great. We have no pushback, but I have a pushback, and I'm gonna tell you from whom I got pushback. I have a pushback from myself, because sometimes I have an idea, I have a concept, I have something to share with you, but I want to explore what happens if what people say it's true. What happens? What are the implications if maybe what Candace was saying back in October is true? Okay, it doesn't make sense, but I try to go against my initial reaction. That's fundamental in learning how to think. Okay, I have this reaction. This first reaction is usually emotional, because we are not rational. We are emotional beings, and our first reaction is going to be emotional. The idea is to, okay, acknowledge that our first reaction, the first 24 hours, is a very bad idea to act upon something. You should wait at least 48 hours to act upon something. I remember that Scott Adams was the one who came up with that golden rule, and that rule still applies, because our first reaction is going to be emotional, and we need to use our reason, people. Yes, I sometimes rant like this, because the single most important goal of this show and my videos is to give you the tools to try to make sense of the world. As Piers would say, Assalamu alaikum. Piers Morgan said that no, the UK is not overrun by extremists, Islamic extremists, but I don't know. I don't know, Piers. I don't know about that, but we need to talk about Nancy Guthrie's case. By the way, I have a true crime channel, and this goes crazier and crazier. We need to talk about Nancy Guthrie's case, because now a white tent goes up at Nancy Guthrie's home. And you remember that we were watching some videos about this suspect, who was this guy with a ski mask and some gloves, and he was bringing some kind of plants to the camera to cover the camera. And now we have a white tent that went up. And at the same time that white tent came up, Savannah Guthrie published this video about her mother. Again, I guess that in further attempts to humanize her, if somebody still has her mother out there. But I can't help but think, shout out to Gator Gar, who said this like 1 week ago. I don't want to be, I don't know, they want to bring bad news or be pessimist. You know that we need to be optimistic, but so many people, at some point I need to acknowledge that so many people have an actual opinion about this. Opinion about this. Is that this feels like, this is feelings and vibes, evidence of nothing, is only feelings and vibes. This feels like that Titan sub. You remember the submarine where the CEO, the crazy CEO, brought all these people, and they just were crushed by the to see the Titanic remains, and it was crushed by the ocean. And there was this search and rescue thing, and pretty much everyone, including James Cameron himself, they knew that that thunk that they had heard at some point during the first hour, during the exploring itself, they knew what that meant, and they dragged on for I don't know how much time, like 1 week, until, oh, you know what? Yeah, we have confirmed that they died. And yeah, so many people saying that this sounds and looks exactly like the Titan sub. So They're talking about thing about the cameras. We don't need to talk about the cameras because I see people are also using the lack of understanding about how security cameras work to, I don't know, spread misinformation as well. There's also let's watch this guy's clip to see what he's about.
We are tracked. They are listening. They are watching. We are being recorded.
The videos that were in the images we're saying from Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera are raising questions about security. So how did investigators get their hands on this video, and why did it take so long for them to release it? Well, these are the videos and images that were released of a masked person approaching Nancy Guthrie's front door before she was abducted. And you can see someone wearing a mask, gloves, a backpack, and a holstered handgun. Nancy Guthrie had a Nest camera, which is owned by Google, and law enforcement initially believed the doorbell footage was lost and said Nancy Guthrie did not have a premium subscription to access video from her doorbell camera. So images were not being stored, basically. But then FBI Director Kash Patel said investigators were working to find videos from residual data located in back-end systems. Now, according to Google, if a Nest camera is disabled, it can still record up to 3 hours of event video history without a subscription. So many are wondering, why did it take so long for this video to be released? Well, it takes time for authorities to basically recover this video from Google's servers, since Nancy Guthrie did not have a premium subscription that offers special features for video history. And essentially, video is continuously recorded and saved with a subscription, but without a subscription, video is saved until it's overwritten.
In this case, they thought because there was no subscription, it would have been erased and recorded over because it would be sort of a continuous situation. And then that's the real issue here. And look, we live in a surveillance economy. And as much as we'd like to think that we can delete things and things will go away, and there are some apps that in fact make things go away, the truth of the matter is that we are tracked. They are listening, they are watching, we are being recorded. Presumably, all of this recording and all of these, the way that they're watching us is to give them a better idea of how they can better serve us and make things either more customized or personalized for people. But that's why I tell young people, whatever you do, it's forever. There were privacy issues raised with Ring doorbells and other doorbells where there was a camera that they could be capturing images of people walking by your house that had absolutely nothing to do with you, but it wasn't really a great thing for them to be recorded what neighborhood they were in. Mm-hmm. So, this is the continuing question of convenience versus security, and the fact that when you think you've deleted something, it isn't necessarily deleted.
Yeah, I remember when I found out many years ago the fact that from every single email, you have to imagine this. Imagine I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of emails I've got in all my inboxes at this point, and how many hundreds of thousands of emails you have in your emails right now that you have read or maybe haven't read. But I found out that from every single email, even the spam ones, every single email ever sent from the beginning of the internet, there are 2 copies. Even if you delete the emails, they're going to keep 2 copies of every single email that you have sent and received forever. They're going to keep them for security reasons. So that's why so many things are better to just say it in person and without any sort of cameras and devices around, because you are absolutely being observed. But in this case, it's maybe a good thing, because even if they didn't have the subscription, which I don't understand, again, how could you have your 84-year-old mother and not have all the security that you need and all the safety that you need with cameras around the house? In fact, I was finding out, what if you want to be in control of that security? You don't want to use any any Google services. Maybe you want to do some kind of set up some cameras and make sure to record 1 month of footage. Okay, and when the month is over, it just deletes the farther stay and then begins to rewrite the whole thing. But it keeps 1 month of footage from 4 nice quality cameras. The whole setup, I found out that would cost around between $500 and $1,000. That would be the initial setup, and the maintenance could be anywhere between $10 to $20 in electricity, maybe less than that. But you will have a complete security grid, not connected to the internet, not owned by Google. You would own your own data. That's one thing that's an option. Maybe you are concerned about this. Oh, I don't want to put any cameras because I don't want to this third parties. I don't know, Google or Ring or whatever. Or these companies. I don't want these companies to have my information. You can actually have a grid of security cameras in your house, and the cameras are connected to a server that is like that first Mission Impossible movie that's not connected to the internet, literally not connected to the internet. It's just connected to the to electricity, and you control everything that happens with that. And you can actually, with some setup, even be able, if you're setting up for, in this case, Savannah Guthrie could have set that up for her mother, and she be able to. This is going to be a bit technical. Even if the server is not technically connected to the internet, there's a way to connect it safely only to trusted devices. For example, you have your mother with cameras. This is for people who are against cameras, against these services, but you can install your own service without having to go without paying a dime to Google or being connected to any sort of these services. So yeah, you can actually have access through a secure connection through trusted devices. So sons can have access, or daughters can have access to this. So I'm just thinking out that people could be concerned. Oh, I don't want to put cameras on my mother's house because then I will be spied by the government. Yeah, but there are ways to set that up completely without being connected to the internet. We also have this second glove found near Nancy Guthrie's home, reports Fox News Trace Gallagher, according to a source telling Fox Digital. So it seems that it is so convenient that after the video of the suspect with the ski mask and the gloves appear, now they found the gloves. Don't you find that it's a self-hosting recommended by Hillary Clinton? Yeah, that works like a charm. That works like a charm. Yeah, amen. Why was she living alone, so isolated? Some people, even at 84 years old, they like to live on their own. But what I don't understand is why she didn't have all these security measures to know what was going on with her.
We knew all along the FBI, Laura, was kind of scanning these roads outside of Nancy Guthrie's house looking for something. They wouldn't tell us what they were looking for, but about 2 hours ago, they finally did notify us, telling us they did find one black glove. We now have video as well as pictures of the glove. In fact, Fox Digital has one source saying that they might have found actually 2 gloves, a set of gloves, which would double the odds of them coming back with some kind of DNA if in fact it is a glove that belongs to a person who was on the porch that we saw the video of from yesterday. You also have to keep in mind that we are in the middle of the desert here and there is cactus everywhere, so gloves on the side of the road may not be all that out of the ordinary, because anybody who's working landscape would need hefty gloves to kind of work in and around this area. So it could be a big break. I mean, it is clearly the biggest thing we have heard that has happened today. And
I don't know. There's so much stuff about this. There's so many theories about this. Gina Milan said, here's a thought. Maybe Savannah Guthrie should put up a 1 million reward for information about her mother's disappearance. What's stopping her? And I have a better idea. I have a better idea. There's another option, and we're going to talk about this movie scene right now. But again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Remember that I will send this to my crime coroner channel, which we still don't know. Well, this is a crime, of course. Abducting somebody or whatever happened to Nancy Guthrie is obviously a crime, because she had no Alzheimer's or dementia. She didn't get lost on her own. So basically somebody took her away, and we don't know what happened to her, but this is obviously a crime. So make sure that you look in the description of this video for the link to my True Crime channel, and I will be putting this clip in there. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the crime coroner. Much love and bliss. I don't know how this is going to work, in the sense that I want to analyze that that movie scenes as I was telling you. For a second, but I don't know if YouTube is gonna flag me. I'm gonna do it anyway. Just give me a second while I upload this. Right now, I want to upload this as soon as I finish every section. It's much easier for me, so YouTube process it, and then I can go to dinner. How much time do we have? Oh my God, we are shortish of time. Those gloves look so staged. It was illegal aliens. I read this line, and I don't know. My science fiction switch is always on, and I thought that you meant like an UFO came here and aliens abducted Nancy, because this is say my name. Okay, I'm gonna try to say your name. Connie Lean Egas. I don't know. I know that your name is Connie, right? Connie Lean Gas. Am I saying something? I don't know. I said your name. Okay, there's that. You can clip it. Yeah, so many elderly people like to live like that. So many elderly people like to live like that. I sometimes, when some of you say that, say my name, I'm afraid if some kind of joke that I'm going to fall for, like Moe's in The Simpsons. It's like when I got a super chat the other day from Mike Hunt, and you know what happens if you say Mike Hunt's name really fast. Oh my God! I knew it. I knew it was a trap. Oh, well played. But I could have said that for free. Oh my God. Yeah, that's people are so mean. Why you do this to me? I'm your friend. Yeah, it was fun. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna allow it. We need to talk about. Oh my God. I fell for that. People are gonna clip that out of context, right? People are going to clip that out of context. I will claim. You know that right now. It's not only that you can plead or plead. It's plead, right? Plead or plead. Plead the fifth. You can plead the fifth, or you can plead AI. That is not me. Mike Roch. Yeah, I know what you did there as well. It was not me. It was AI who said that word. Somebody clipped me out of context saying that word. Not that I see any problem with that word. Oh my God, Harry as well. We need to talk about Harry. Oh my God, why you do that? I knew it. Say my name. It's like, you're not Heisenberg. Why would I say your name? You're not Heisenberg. Well, we need to talk briefly about Harry. We need to talk briefly about Harry because this man is not well. I was watching this video. This is gonna be really quick before we move on to that movie that I want to analyze. None of you should be here. He was saying that Prince Harry has joined British families in Los Angeles who say their children died after using social media, and that is tragic. That is something that I've always found tragic, that teens right now are so into TikTok, so into Instagram, that they tend to lose this contact with real life. And yeah, this can lead to actual consequences. This is not something to joke about. It's something that actually happens, and there's so many tragic ways to lose your sons and daughters, and this is a really tragic way. This should be stopped, and that's why I tell you, you should make sure that your kids and teens are not on social media. That's not something that you will be able to monitor. The only winning move is not to play. There's no way around that. But well, Harry was in this as a landmark court case in the United States, accused Instagram and YouTube of creating addiction machines. There's a court case right now against Instagram. That you know that Instagram comes from Meta, owned by Mark Zuckerberg, the same owner of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. He owns the whole thing, and it was discovered a long time ago. These documents in which they exposed that they were trying to make these platforms as addictive as possible. And of course, Facebook is maybe more of a boomer thing, okay? But Instagram is specially engineered to cause addiction, and I don't know how can they pretend that this is not something that they strive for. So this is what Harry was standing against, and Harry is standing for something that is actually right. So Harry is doing something that is right, we would say. But the problem is that you know that these morons always try to jump in any bandwagon to make it about themselves. Prince Harry on brink of tears as he makes low-key outing. None of you should be here. I mean, that is not a good choice of words. I can understand that none of you should be here, as in none of your children should have died in the first place. But again, it's not the best choice of words. He appeared to be on the verge of tears as he joined British families who claimed their children died after using social media at a low-key outing in Los Angeles. The Duke of Sussex appeared emotional as he told bereaved parents on Wednesday that none of you should be here, and praised them for telling your stories over and over again as a landmark trial in, again, poor wording. This guy, this is not what this guy was. He was not born for this. He was born to be despair, to just wave and smile, and that's it. But the words, the sentiment is there. The words are horrendous. And praise them for telling your stories over and over again, as in, okay, I'm tired of your stories already. As a landmark trial in Los Angeles will examine whether tech giants like Meta, Instagram, and YouTube had caused damage to young people's health. It comes as Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle, released a powerful statement today about accountability and children's safety online ahead of the trial. Again, I am not against Harry and Meghan doing that. I am against them doing this about themselves, and especially Harry. It seems that he has absolutely no idea where he is standing right now. Let's watch the clip, which is, let's say, crazy enough, and take a look at his gestures. This is going to be a blend between the Royal Rogue and the body language guy.
None of you should be here. So, thank you for doing everything that you've done. Thank you for telling your stories over and over again. Truth, justice, and accountability. Those are the three things that will come from this.
Okay, my first impression is that where was this? Because it was like they gather, they just pull up a table and some chairs and somewhere because of the noise, and because there's this lady here that she couldn't care less that Harry is next to her. I would be stoked. I would be. So Harry in there, I need to take a picture with Harry. I told you many times, if I see Meghan, if I stumble upon Meghan, I will take a picture with Meghan 100%. I hope that she recognizes me. And yeah, I've been making hundreds of videos about you, Meghan. But no, this lady was chilling and not caring at all. Did you see that there was all that noise? And Harry's movements, and especially his facial expression, This is a bit weird because the left side of his face, which is the most expressive side of our faces, was emotional, but the other one was pretty much neutral. Okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. The problem that I see is that he looks more uncomfortable than touched. If we see let's watch this without listening to his words or the noise. Let's watch this without sound. You see this? And he notice how he crosses. You can't see that, but he crosses one leg in front of the other just by the movement of his hips. There he crosses his legs. He keeps. It's a very protective gesture. He puts one leg in front of the other. He keeps covering his belly. He's very protective. He's very defensive at that moment. I don't think that it was because he was, again, this is not the body language of somebody who feels touched because of this. I think it's somebody who is more like uncomfortable than anything else. I'm being watched. I'm being filmed. He tries to emphasize this, and he keeps, okay. And he almost kept that hand on top of his belly the whole time. That is a protective gesture. And then he began to, what was he enumerating there? Let's watch.
Justice and accountability. Truth, justice, and accountability.
This is about truth, justice, and accountability. He's not wrong. I think that I agree with Harry in this one. I have to be fair. But again, this is maybe not the best way. I don't know if they wanted to portray him this way to put it in like kind of a natural setting or something. Okay, look at him. He's just we would need more pictures. Why is he at a bar? Yeah, it looks like a bar. It doesn't look like a restaurant. Booze store. A booze store, un botequín, como diríamos en Venezuela. Yeah, a booze store. But okay, I guess that was the place of the meeting. That was a bit odd. I mean, again, the message is sound. The messenger, not as much. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Much love and bliss. Yes, this one goes on my Royal Rogue channel. And let me switch there. A little Royal Rogue right now. Upload this one. It's gonna be much better. I'm hungry already. Oh my God, dinner is coming. I'm hungry. I need to look how long his fingers is. AI. No, it's not AI. This is I'm gonna explain this. Good point. This is not AI. This is simply that he's extending his he's doing this. Look at this. My finger can also look like AI if I do this. Okay, My finger looks absurdly long right now. Even if I don't think that I have fingers longer than Harry's. Okay. So that is part of the camera, part of that effect. So no, it's not AI. It's the real deal. Just for the record, I like to spot that kind of AI stuff. Let's see what happens when just analyzing this. This is gonna be a fun part. I'm gonna talk about movies. Talk about movies, about this movie, and sometimes in my shows I've told you that I want to analyze movie scenes. And some movie scenes are more iconic than others. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. But maybe I can deconstruct the following movie scene for your view and pleasure. And I don't know if you watched this movie Ransom with Mel Gibson and Rene Russo and Gary Sinise, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I haven't analyzed any movie scene in a while, and we were talking about ransom money and why not offer a ransom when it's or when there's a ransom requested. Why don't just give them the money or offer some money for information? And that brought me to this movie Ransom with Mel Gibson, Rene Russo, and Gary Sinise. I remember that, and I always go back to this scene in which he is on TV. Basically, he is about to tell the kidnappers that he's got I think the $2 million for his son, but there is a twist in this moment of the movie. If you have not watched Ransom, I don't want to spoil anything from the movie. Just going to analyze this scene, which, by the way, is not much of a spoiler because I'm pretty sure it was included in the trailers of the movie. So it was not much of a plot twist, but here it goes. Here we go with subtitles, and we're going to go piece by piece. Okay, he is entering the studio in which he's going to be broadcasted the message to the kidnappers. And I'm going to be pausing every now and then so to not get in trouble with YouTube for copyright or anything.
Mr. Mullen, we're going to get you set up right over here. We'll get you wired up with a mic. I will signal to you from next to the camera. Ready to go? On 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good afternoon. We are interrupting this program to bring you an exclusive report. As you know, we've been following the Mullen kidnapping for about a day or so.
They play well perspectives as well. You have the perspective of the people who are working at the studio, the perspective of Mel Gibson himself, the perspective of, you see, his wife right here. She doesn't know what's going to happen in the next few seconds, and we're going to see the perspective of the kidnappers as well. So this is the way that you set up the tension of the scene, that everyone glued to their TVs for what Gibson is about to say in his character.
We will get back to our regular program, but right now we're going to show you something that you will only see right here. Tom Mullen, Sean Mullen's father. Mr. Mullen?
Tom, you're on.
That pause was interesting because it's like he is like going through his thoughts one last time before doing what he is about to do.
The whole world now knows my son, Sean Mullen, was kidnapped for ransom 3 days ago.
This is the perspective of Gary Sinise, who plays the detective. Well, I'm not going to give much of this, but you know, by the setting, by the lighting, and by the angle, and how Gary Sinise is looking at the TV, in this case, you can guess more or less what he plays, and it's not only detective in this case.
This is a recent photograph of him. Sean, if you're watching, we love you. And this? Well, this is what waits for the man that took him. This is your ransom.
Wait, I want to see this.
$2 million in unmarked bills, just like you wanted. But this is as close as you'll ever get to it. You'll never see $1 of this money. Because no ransom will ever be paid for my son. Not one dime. Not one penny.
I love this body language here. You see her not understanding what is this about. What we have the unmarked bills, we have the money. What is he talking about? What is he's not going to see the we're not giving the money to the kidnappers? What is this? And you see that they use these close-ups. This is an extreme close-up in which you even slice part of Gibson's head just to focus on his emotion, that his determination. This is he's totally confident of what he's about to say.
Instead, I'm offering this money as a reward on your head. Dead or alive, it doesn't matter. So congratulations, you've just become a $2 million lottery ticket. Except the odds are much, much better. Do you know anyone that wouldn't turn you in for $2 million? I don't think you do. I doubt it. So wherever you go and whatever you do, this money will be tracking you down for all time. And to ensure that it does, to keep interest alive, I'm running a full-page ad in every major newspaper every Sunday for as long as it takes.
You notice how this shot, for example, is very good. You have the pain in his eyes. Mel Gibson is an amazing actor. In this shot includes that image of his kid in the background. This shot was cinema perfection in the action and everything.
But, and this is your last chance.
And this is the kind of shots that you use to not only to portray the amount of money that we're talking about, but to rest from the final part of the message, which is the most impactful.
You return my son, alive, uninjured. I'll withdraw the bounty. With any luck, you can simply disappear. Understand, you will never see this money. Not $1. So you still have a chance to do the right thing. If you don't, well then God be with you, because nobody else on this earth will be.
Yeah, I love that scene for many reasons, and that movie is really interesting precisely because the characters are multidimensional. Especially Mel Gibson's character has more than one dimension, and my question is the question that I would ask is what happened with that kind of movies? What happened to that cinema from that era? It was only this immersion that we got. It's like you're watching this isolated scene. I like to watch this every now and then, and you notice from the lighting, from the shots, from how the shots are organized, you have this beautiful, wonderful illumination that sets up the entire mood of the scene, and he has this bright lights. Like everybody here, everyone has this moody lighting. Besides Mel Gibson, who has the spotlights on him, so it's that's another way to have this weight on his words, on what he has to say, and that pause before he says that was really good. And Mel Gibson's action, Ransom from 1996. We're watching a scene from Ransom's 1996. I love these movies and these setups, these shots in which you are at the bar with several TVs, and you have this slide camera follow focus to Gary Sinise watching this, and you see his expression and how his expression changes as this evolves. And you see, for example, this shot from the one of the TVs at the bar, how the focus changes to Sinise in the background. Again, what happened to that kind of cinema? You know what you know that this wouldn't happen right now, and what is happening nowadays, that's an actual complaint. You're seeing the format. I don't know if I can. You're seeing the complete format. I'm going to reduce this. By the format, I see the entire area of the film. And you notice that the director is using the entire format of this. This is a Ron Howard film, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, Gary Sinise is another amazing actor. And you see Mel Gibson in one edge of the screen, and you see Gary Sinise, and you see the composition is just so awesome. And what is happening nowadays is that everything you must have noticed that in TV shows and in movies, everything is composed in the middle. Everything, every character is always in the middle. You can just crop the middle, just the middle of the format, and you will get basically like 80% of the action. And that is boring. And why is that? Because of the TikTok generation, of the vertical video craze. Because that is designed so people can cut parts of the movie and just throw that on TikTok, and the action will always remain on the middle. So that's why we don't get this kind of beautiful shots anymore, because, we need to say this this shot is great as well. Nice depth to it. Notice this. This is so good. This is so good in terms of lighting. I have told you, again, in composition, this area, upper right corner, has always a lot of weight. Whatever you put in there is going to have a lot of weight. How do you balance that composition in this case? You put medium light over something that is nondescript in there, and put the character on the opposite side of that maximum attention place. So Gary Sinise's face is like in the shadows, and light with this natural light coming from here, and the shot is perfectly balanced. The shot is, again, this is what I love about cinema. How to paint something on the screen. And this was so beautifully painted. You see this. It looks like a painting. And yeah, this is something that we need more of. And you see this like if he's talking directly to him, and you see how the camera is still zooming in until an extreme close-up of Gary's face. I mean, I could spend hours talking about shots. This is the kidnappers, the people on the studio as well. This was like a rest shot, top down, tilt down camera, and finally you will never see this money. You see the Gary Sinise's expression that he's also an amazing actor. I mean, there's so many ways. I can talk about movies for hours. Rene Russo, another legend. And yeah, Gary Sinise runs an amazing foundation which gives homes to injured veterans. By the way, Sinise is the real deal. A giver, a true American hero who honors heroes. You remember Gary Sinise from Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan. Gary Sinise is a real deal. I always remember him as the villain in Snake Eyes as well, with Nicolas Cage. I could be talking about movies for longest time, but for hours. But again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the scene surgeon. Much love and bliss. And yes, that is a channel that I don't update that much, but I should be updating the scene surgeon more. You know that what happened with the scene surgeon, something that I like and don't like, is that I want to make a video analysis. I made a video analysis of Pulp Fiction. Is one of my favorite movies. Tarantino, for me, Tarantino is a genius. I could disagree with him with his politics, okay, but for me, there's nothing that dialogue written by Tarantino. That guy is a genius. And one of my favorite scenes from Pulp Fiction is not the one that I analyze. Is the one when John Travolta is bringing Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman is ODing, has an overdose, and he's rushing to his to this guy's house to give her a shot of adrenaline. The whole sequence, he on the car, going to the house of the guy, calling him on the phone, arriving at the house, all the frantic thing, yelling to each other, the camera work. I mean, up until Uma Thurman finally wakes up and they're going back home. That scene is just I mean, cinema perfection for me. It's because, why do I consider that cinema perfection? Because you take a look at that scene. Maybe tomorrow we can take a look at that scene. You look at that scene and you see people acting like people would react in real life. That these people are just amazing actors. I mean, it's such a shame. Such a shame that so many things became politicized. I would say that everything became politicized at some point. At some point in our lives, everything became politicized. And yes, everybody has the right to say what are their politics, what they stand for, even if we disagree, even if we know that to stay alive in Hollywood, you have to be part of the group. And being part of the group requires that you have to speak about, in this case, I don't know, Donald Trump in a certain way. And it's like Ben Stiller, for example. Ben Stiller has made great movies. He's a great director. The guy knows filmmaking. You can criticize him, but it is an objective fact that the guy knows how to make movies. And remember that Ben Stiller gave us Tropic Thunder. And I remember that when he was talking about Kamala Harris and vote for Kamala, he was so uncomfortable. He was so uncomfortable all the way. Say, I know that he disagrees. I know that he has to do it because he has to do that. But just by giving us Tropic Thunder, the guy deserves the guy deserves at least one accolade. Oh, right. You have a colleague here. I'm a 3D animator as well. I don't know, Alex, if you know that I was a 3D animator as well. Hey, Jesus, what are some good resources to learn cinematography? Go to YouTube. YouTube, you will have amazing essays about cinematography. Just look for it. I mean, I can spend hours. Cinematography, for me, I have realized directing a movie could be a massive undertaking because you have to you be on top of everything. There's two things that I could do well as a director. I would know, of course, what body language fits what. Okay, I would say, okay, nail the scene in terms of body language, but sometimes body language is just one thing. Imagine like a war movie, and you have to this complex sequence with I don't know, explosions and everything. That would be quite complicated. But cinematography is about what goes on screen, and how do you make sure that what is on screen and the cinematographer should work at the same time with the editor. So you have the right pacing of everything beautifully crafted on screen. I don't know. I could talk about this. I love filmmaking. I love movies. And no, I think the last good movies, we had last good movies around 2010, 2014 tops. From that 2014, that was downhill. That was downhill from there. What should we do here right now? Read the super chats. We had some super chats. American Woman. Oh, I remember that Lenny Kravitz song. American Woman. I follow several podcasters. I recently hit up on you, and I'm so glad I don't leave your show wanting to rip my hair out. Humorous, common sense, and calming. Thank you, American Woman 413C4F. And that is some kind of code? I don't know. Nicole, thank you for the super chat. Seems like Meghan Markle studied the Diana Bashir interview, spun it her own way in an attempt to manipulate, and got found out. Yeah, Meghan did her homework. Meghan did her homework. And when you want to, let's say, influence and manipulate someone, you have to do your homework. Not gonna say that is something that you should do, manipulate people. But yes, the more you know about people, the easiest it is to manipulate them. That's why I always advise people to be as private as they can online. It's like myself. I would say that I'm a very public persona. There's thousands of hours of me out there speaking nonsense, right? But at the same time, I'm really private with my personal life. And the more private you are, the harder it is for people to manipulate you. What happens so many times is that you have people that are naturally open to other people, that they just begin to pour their entire life on the hands of other people, of strangers sometimes, and that is dangerous. You're setting yourself up to be manipulated. Thank you, Lee of Monaco, for your super sticker. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Super sticker, Shiba dog shaking his body from left to right, surrounded by red hearts. And last super chat for today, Amethyst Angel. Give me classic Hollywood black and white movies like Gaslight 1944 or 46. That's where we get the term. Yes, we need that. I should give Casablanca a rewatch. There's so many other black and white movies. I took a look at TCM channel the other day, and I see the movies. Wait a second, these are not all movies. These are movies from the 90s. Am I that old right now? Am I that old? But yeah, 90s movies are officially old. Are officially more than a quarter century old right now. My God. Oh my God. Life of David Gale, good movie as well. So many things. You know that when I'm uploading the videos after the show, I'm really tired. Like I should have dinner already. It's getting late here. I'm really tired because of the energy, etc. This energizes me, but of course, it's like, oh my God, the live stream has ended. So who am I going to jab to now? So I've been just turning up movies, and I watched The Hurt Locker with Jeremy Renner 2 days ago. Solid movie. I watched Fury, that World War II movie with Shia LaBeouf, Brad Pitt. What's this other guy? I forgot the name of the other guy. Fury. And I was watching, that's something that I'm just a fan of, Chernobyl. I was watching the Chernobyl miniseries again. I don't know why I'm obsessed with Chernobyl, but it is what it is. I just like, and the miniseries is just awesome. It's just awesome. I could be talking about that. Did I talk about Candace? Yes, I did talk about Candace. I'm gonna upload those individual topics right now, and you will see like in 1 hour. So, my body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and until we meet tomorrow on episode 126, remember the most important words: much love and bliss. Take care. Be safe. I love every single one of you. Bye-bye.